We're almost here.
Yeah.
We're in Mexico. We just crossed the border. Brazil. And yeah, I looked in our window, saw the cat, and asked us what we had in the bag. We just said vacation stuff. And it pulled over. It pulled aside. We didn't get searched. All right, we're back in Rocky Point.
Yeah. We rented a house kind of on the north end of town for a month. And it's a 2-bedroom. It's actually pretty big. But it's bigger than what we need. But it works. There's a bedroom back here. There's a bedroom there. And a bathroom. And this is like the kitchen and living area. Nice and big. We left Fallon 2 days ago, and then last night we stayed in Kingman with our friends Pat and Lisa. They're very nice to put us up for the night, and then we got here about 3:30.
3:34.
Yeah, and just unloaded the car, put everything away, and then we're gonna head to the boat for the first time since we left about 6 weeks ago, I guess, 7 weeks ago, something like that, and see what it's doing. Here we go.
We're here. I'm gonna go find a ladder. Ah, the boat's still here. Sweet. Oh, I missed Ramble on.
Hey, kitty cat. Hey, the girl. What are you doing?
So it's officially day one. We are at the boat. It's about 6:30 in the morning. It's the first time I've been in the boat, and it's not that bad inside. Outside's a real mess. Just the dust is really bad. But the inside, it's not too bad. There's a little film of dust on stuff. I mean, we haven't been gone that long, but I also haven't looked to see if anything is overheated or spilled or exploded or whatever. But this is kind of how we left it. We're going to leave it buttoned up for a while, I think, just because it's so dusty here in the boatyard. Be easier to keep the dust out than to have to clean it later. First order of business.
Measuring for a boarding ladder. We should have had a boarding ladder last season. And when we left Owl Harbor, it was going to be like 6 to 8 weeks to order it. And we had like a month. So we didn't. And it's one of these cool folding ladders made by Scanmar.
So what's wrong with the one we have?
POS.
Well,
It's
so
weird.
it's exactly what we had that burned in the shed.
Yeah, we had one that hooked over the rails, and the problem is that in swell it bounces up and gets knocked off. So we had a safety clip, and then when you climb up it, the way the two hooks fold into each other, the whole thing just wants to rack and rotate and pivot, so it slides and it doesn't stay stable
as you're climbing.
It's hard to climb out, and it only puts like one rung below the surface, so it makes it difficult to climb out. It's like 3 sections, it's like 72 inches long, goes like at least 2-3 rungs below the waterline, so it makes it easier to climb on when you're swimming.
And it mounts to the...
It actually has a hardware that slides on the T-track, so our jib track is where it mounts and fits in the gap between the two stanchions that are the gates right now. I need to take down the radar and pull out all the wires and get things sorted out there. So that's like today's goal.
Let's do the.
Maybe
let's
knock
measure,
some dust off the boat
Let's measure this thing.
and then measure the ladder. In order to put this solar arch on the back of the boat, I need to take down the radar tower right here. So right now I'm digging in, going underneath the quarter berth and pulling out all the wiring for the, I got a couple of GPS antennas, I got a Wi-Fi antenna, and then I've got the radome itself to get unwired and then drop this thing, get it out of the way. I got a mount on order, and I'm going to mount the radar dome to the mast just above the spreaders. There's a hole for a wire. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Just a couple of bolts down here on the ground, on the at deck level. And it never really sat right. When we did the decks, we took out the teak, and it never really sat right. So, I built a leveling pad, like formed it in and poured epoxy and everything and made a leveling pad, but it always sat a little crooked. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of this thing. This is what we also used for our dinghy, for the engine lifting arm. There's an arm that's swung off this thing. So I'm going to try and get rid of this tower, sell it, I don't know, give it away for scrap, whatever. So this is the cable that goes in the radome scanner. And up here where we keep our radar on a swivel arm, and this whole mess of wires, like all the way back to the electrical panel, needs to be opened up and sorted out and individual wires pulled out. These are old solar wires. They're spliced in parallel from port and starboard wing panels that we had on the boat. Those are going to go away. I'm still going to use the penetrations, but I'm wiring everything completely different for the new solar panels. I've got to shuffle this DC to DC charger out of the way and move the MPPT controllers to where everything works right. This is the switch that turns the solar on and off. Yeah, there's some reorganization needs to happen with this installation of this new radar tower. Or, sorry, if you call it a radar tower, I call it a solar tower because that's what we're putting on it. The radar actually isn't even going to go on it. So sort things out and clean it up a bit. I got to pull out some old wires because I got a hole right here that this thing barely fits through, and then that'll make it easier. So yeah, you can tell wires laid upon wires, and the original wires in the boat were the old radar and GPS and all that crap. And then I laid a bunch of wires on top of it, so it's like they're at the bottom of the bundle. And now I take everything out to get this thing through here. And I checked our Battleborn batteries, by the way, and they are really close to the voltage we left them at, like within like a tenth or a hundredth of a volt. They're like all about 13.29. And I think we left them at like 13.3, 13.31, something like that. So really happy. I left the batteries all disconnected individually because they were all wired in parallel. And then I had 8 of them and just disconnected them with a full charge on them. And they only dropped down like a couple of hundredths of a volt. So really glad about that. All right, so as you can see, a lot of wires under here. Maybe this will fit. Cut it off. There it is. All right. There's still a whole coil of GPS and radar and Starlink cable that all still has to be sorted out and ran up to this little deck penetration right there. And I'm going to pull it out of there. Okay. Got the radome down. Got to pull all the antennas. And yeah, get all the wires out of here. So I get this pad, And then all the wires that come up the radar tower. All right. It's hot. I'm sweating.
What are you doing? You bored?
What's happening?
Are you a little bored? I'm making new cockpit cushions. Yeah, I'm making, this is a hinged cushion. So it'll fold up on itself.
All right.
And this is like the worst part, so don't film.
It's fabric.
Yeah.
That's good. Then you got the drainage
Yeah, and then on
stuff on the bottom.
stuff, and then
Grippy.
huh?
The grippy stuff.
Yeah, and then also thicker foam. So the other stuff we had is still good. I think it's just more for occasional use, and we use them every day. So I think they were only 2-inch, right?
They're pretty thin.
Yeah. So these are 3-inch. They should be a little more comfortable. And I'm making them a little bit longer. And I'm not making backs. I'm going to make some pillows instead. So.
Cool. Carry on. So these are the full extension slides that I'm using on the solar panels. They've got a locking latch that catches them at the end. Just flip these things up. What I want to do, because they're not stainless steel, they're regular steel, but I want to isolate the metal, so I'm putting on this PVC tape. It's just whatever, 20 mil PVC tape like you get at Home Depot. And that'll isolate contact between the metal and the aluminum. And then all the stainless steel hardware, the screws and bolts and everything, the nuts will all get Tef gel on the threads. So just laying these things out and just putting down PVC tape. And I'm just keeping a little gap between the two halves of tape just so I can find the holes that I need to secure it to the aluminum rails. So these are the solar panels laid out. These are the two bottom ones on sliders, and these are the bifacial panels. So they take light from the bottom as well. These are the sliders set up, and this is the, I think it's 3.5 by 2.5 angle iron, and I'm gonna have to cut this off. They come in 6-foot lengths, and I'm gonna lose about 16 inches off the end of that. I've got all this taped up. The drawer slides are taped off to isolate them. And these are the old 175 watt panels that were hanging on the side of the boat on our rails. So these two panels are butt tight to each other. That's what I'm thinking. Because I kind of want this to be a shade bending as well. So anyway, the panels are going to sit like this with the sliders on the bottom. And this has been done before. I mean, I'm not the first person to do this, so it's just a matter of getting creative and figuring out what works. So, yeah, chop a little bit off the aluminum. I need to make sure that everything lays out correctly once I get the arch installed on the back. So,
Well, how much weight can the sliders hold?
oh, they're like 100. Each drawer slide holds like 150 pounds, and the panels are like 30 pounds each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're looking at it's probably close to 120 pounds worth of panels here. With all this aluminum and the bars and the,
Right. The sliders aren't supporting all that. They're just supporting the panel.
no, but the arch is also supporting all this weight,
So how
plus
much
the weight of the dinghy.
How much can the arch support?
A few hundred pounds, 300 or 400 pounds. I mean, it'll support the weight of the dinghy plus the panels on top. We got the upgraded Schedule 80 solar arch, the Mark II design from Atlantic Towers. So it actually is a thicker wall too than the Schedule 40.
It'll hold the dinghy and the engine? The motor
Yeah.
and the panels.
And the panels.
So
And you are working on cushions?
my finished ones are in there. Yeah.
Show us your handiwork. Yeah. Cockpit cushion.
Yeah, and they fold in half. And
Nice.
yeah, and the zippers tucked in here. At least on the one that I did right. The other one I messed up, so the way it is. But yeah, and it's a dry pass foam, so water drains through it. It's the same foam we have now, just an inch thicker than what we have. We have 2 inch. This is 3 inch, and I just decided to do a gray seats instead. And then we're gonna do, instead of having cushion backs, we're just gonna do some big pillows. I've got 2. I've got 3 more of these littler ones, and if I want to get more, I can do that too. Then I got fabric to make the pillow covers.
Right.
Oh yeah, and I have this material on the bottom. This is, we used this before last time. This is a non-skid, kind of a rubberized material, and it works really well. I have to fix that. Don't look at that.
Yeah. Don't look at
Yeah,
that one.
it works really well, and they don't slide. They stick. You can step on them, and it's not gonna send you overboard. So.
All right. We're getting breakfast. We haven't had breakfast yet. We haven't breakfast at all in Peñasco.
No, where are we?
I love cake or something like that. I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called
Jeni
either.
cake. Jeni cake right there. Breakfast and dessert.
Super popular.
Yeah, big time. At least it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, busy. How's the coffee?
Well, here it is. We got the tower in a box. So we're shoehorned in here pretty good. So we're going to try and get it up. Had to run a halyard today because we took everything down. We de-rigged the boat when we hauled out. So between our rolling ladder there, yeah, it's going to be a neat trick getting this thing in because the ladder is in the way, but the ladder is what we need to do to get up to the top deck of the boat. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. But anyway, I got to pull these rails off that the old solar panels were on. And then, but first I need to measure the assembled width and then figure out how much I need to chop off to make, it's approximately 80 inches, the forward rails, the forward feet actually. So we're just laying out the width and everything. It's going to be tight.
Big.
But yeah, big, width-wise. So hopefully by the time you pinch everything down, you preload the legs and get everything set up, it'll be where it needs to be. I've kind of got an idea of where I need to cut these off. So this will give me 10 inches of berry, but it's going to end up being somewhere like right here. So I guess I just start chopping, see what happens.
So this is your new pipe cutter?
Yeah.
So what dimension pipe is this?
2 inch,
Schedule.
no, 1.5 inch, schedule 80.
Schedule 80. It's the
It
thick
is
stuff.
inch and 7/8 OD.
Yeah, it's thick.
I think it's 1.5 inches inside.
So how hot is it today?
I don't know. It's brutal.
It's supposed to be 90. It's always between nighttime and daytime. It's 80 to 90.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
85 to
not much
95
difference.
all day, unless that's the heat, the temperature difference between their low and their high. And the humidity at night is about 70%, and it goes down to about 65. I think 55, 65% during the day. I mean, it's 9:30, and we're both just drenched.
You can feel this thing getting hot from the friction. Yeah, the tube is warm.
We'll put a disclaimer. These measurements are for our boat. You may need to adjust.
Yes, please do.
Hey.
There you go.
All right, so we have the arch kind of put together.
Yeah, now I just gotta figure out. I gotta take down these old solar rails. The tube that the old solar panels were on.
And we're replacing them with what? Eventually.
I'm doing all new Dyneema lifelines. So we got these, they're Suncor quick attach lifeline kits. Freaking expensive. The gates are insane. Like a gate kit's like $300 per side. And we had an incident where we were in, I think we were still in Santa Barbara. We were coming up to the dock. I don't remember where it was. Oh, at the Napa Marina. And it had a fender hooked to the lifeline. And when it rolled, the boat rolled up against the dock, it twisted the fender and pulled it down and popped it right out of this compression fitting. This is like it's like a small version of standing rigging terminal, like a high mod or a stay lock or something like that.
But not as good.
No, definitely not as good. Was not impressed and would never lean against them ever.
Still won't with Dyneema, but it'll be better because stanchions are old.
Lifelines are there to remind you that that's the edge, and you know they're not to keep you on the boat. And if anything, I would think that the stanchions would give under a heavy load, like a big impact load. If you were to slam against it, you'd just tear the stanchion out of the deck before anything.
All right, so we got to take these things out to get the arch in. First test fit of our arch. Luckily, we know Pat and Lisa on Soulmate, so they don't mind us crawling on their boat.
We stayed at their house so we can walk on their boat. You're just using the voice microphone in there.
Yeah, it's really noisy here in the boatyard, but that's the first test fit.
That's just fit number one. So we're pretty close. It's leaning forward a little bit. The water line actually looks pretty level, but I know we do ride a little high in the butt. But loading this up with a couple 100 pounds worth of aluminum and solar panels is probably going to make us sit a little bit. It's going to balance out all that chain and diesel in the front of the boat. So I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I envisioned.
As you can see too, we are like sardines in here.
Oh.
Like it's just inches between this catamaran, which is
filming a hoist yesterday, and there was
we stopped.
No, what happened? We had to get rid of the ladder that was back here and get a shorter ladder on this side.
Yeah, we got to the point. It was after lunch, and I was at the mast, and I just thought, this is an accident. Just waiting to happen because we're both tired. We're both really hot, and it was windy as well. The wind had really kicked up. So, how long we been at the yard? Back? Today's Tuesday. We got back. We started
6 days.
Yeah.
We got back Wednesday afternoon, so Wednesday was a wash anyway. Didn't count.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We didn't work at all.
Went to breakfast and then laid around the house.
Oh, well, I sewed. I finished all my sewing.
Okay, I laid around the house. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I almost want to do everything while it's up there. I don't want to have to take this bitch down again. All right. We're back down on the ground.
You look awfully sweaty.
Yeah, I'm wet.
It's 70-something% humidity here.
It's pretty, the air's pretty thick.
Yeah.
Mask and snow.
So we got this apart for now. We just cut off a little bit. We're going to put that back together.
So we're going to go conservative and cut 4 inches off the forward legs.
We think we need 6.
We think we need 6, but I'm gonna trim it down here 4. Then we're gonna bolt the top frame together because I've got the distance. I want this thing as narrow as it can be. You can fit the boat better that way.
If anybody asks, we're cutting ours to 94 inches on the first try for this forward leg.
Yep.
For our boat. Everybody's boat's different, but people always ask us for exact dimensions.
It's time to go permanent. Yeah, I thought cutting the front legs off would effectively lower this thing down below the rub rail, but it also changes the geometry because it gets narrower as you get shorter. So I cut off 4 inches off of the front legs, and now I got to cut 5.5 off the back legs.
And we're still not below the rub rail.
No, we're coming into the teak on the sides of the bulwark.
It's just not going to work, otherwise it'd be too low.
Yeah, it'd be a head clipper on
Yeah.
those solar panels, so this is what we're going with. All right, we're up again. I was just gonna check it for level. It's close enough for now.
When you take it down one more
It
time.
needs a slight tilt forward because the whole boat has a slight tilt forward at the major the keel and the coach roof and everything. So I think pretty good for right now.
So is that about where the legs go? The feet?
And then I will, I'll get those things taped on and kind of get them where I think it's supposed to be, and then we'll line up these with how far aft they need to be, and then check it for level up here one more time. Look at it, stand over there, look at it. Maybe look at it from over there. Let's see what we can do. See how close we are.
Yeah.
All right, now I got to epoxy the pins into the tubes. So this stuff is getting hot. It's a hot day out today, so I took and tossed this in the ice chest for 15 or 20 minutes. And now you just mix up equal parts of this Marine Tex. This is the stuff they supply with the kit. And there's a gap. There's like a little bit of wiggle room. So I gotta tape these things up and make sure they stay tight. Apparently this stuff kicks pretty quick. It's got about a 5-minute pot life, so you gotta mix it and work fast. Hopefully it's not too crooked. Alright, so this thing uses a curved washer. And these are through bolted on the front legs because these are the lifting legs. These legs are down here in compression. Alright, so a little squirt of Tef gel on all the stainless. Lube it up a little bit so it doesn't, lock washer doesn't seize up. Dead end hole. I hate these dead end holes, but these are just set screws to hold the legs on. I want to test fit this before I put Tef gel with it.